Hey everybody, Sensei James Wall here along with Coach Eli. We're going to be covering the Junior Judo techniques for semester 3 of the Junior Judo curriculum here at Wall to Wall Martial Arts. We're going to start off with some throwing techniques first. So our first technique is going to be Tani Otoshi. This is the valley drop. It's a sacrificing throw, which means I am going to fall and use that force and power and speed generated by my body falling to throw my opponent. So this is one of my favorite throws. It is one we have to be a little bit careful when we utilize. We want to make sure we do it correctly so that we don't hurt our partner. All right, so one of the best times, not the only time, but one of the best times for Tani Otoshi is if our opponent has come in and tried to attack us or throw us with a forward throw, like a hip throw or a shoulder throw, something like maybe Ogoshi or maybe Ippon Seoinage, anything where they're turning their back to us to try to throw us in that direction. In that case, we use it as a counter technique. We're countering their attack with a throw of our own. So I'll have Coach Eli here. He's going to come in as if he's going to throw me that way, maybe for Koshiguruma, for example, or Kubinagi. So he puts his arm around my neck, and he's wanting to throw me that way. In the process, though, he has exposed his back to me, and he was moving in this direction. Now, if I wait too long, if I wait until he has started to pull me and off-balance me forward like this, it's going to be too late. So timing is crucial here with this. If I wait too long, it's not going to work as well, maybe not at all. So as he's coming in, I'm going to take a slight turn and step my body sideways so that now I'm sort of making almost a T with him. All right, now my left leg is going to fall down onto the mat right behind his. It's important. I want to get my leg as close to his heels as I possibly can, and my leg is going to the mat. My leg is not going into his knees. So it's not a reap or a sweep or anything like that. I'm not kicking his legs out like that. Instead, I'm going to let my leg drop down right behind his heels. My left hand that's free, I want to either grab his lapel, grab him here around the waist, I could grab his belt, I could grab the back of his gi, grab his shoulder, but I want to do something with this hand. I like to grab the lapel, or the back of the collar I should say, or just wrap around my opponent and hug him like this, okay? I'm going to grab right here. As I drop, I'm going to land on my side, but I'm going to use both of my hands, the one here and the one with his lapel in front. I want to steer him and make sure he lands on his back. Important that I do not land on my back. I land on my side, okay? So here, my leg goes out and drops, and I steer him to his back. Notice how I landed here on my side, okay? If I landed on my back, it's possible to a referee maybe who's out of position, it could look like he threw me down, and maybe he gets the score for that. So I steer him to his back. As soon as he lands, I'm starting to transition into a pin of some sort so I can finish this, just in case I didn't get a full Ippon score for the throw, all right? So again, important points here. Make sure that you let your leg drop all the way to the mat. Hold them with both hands. Grab something here, have this one on the lapel. Steer them to their back. You have to control them. Don't let them turn on top of you. So I'm not falling down backwards. I'm not going here and then falling like this and pulling them on top of me. I'm falling and pushing, boom, here, right there onto his back. All right, our next one is Tsukue Nage. This is the scooping throw. We're going to see it performed kind of in a self-defense setting. We're going to have our opponent actually grabbing us kind of in a side headlock, or what some people call a bulldog headlock. This is a pretty common bully on the playground kind of scenario that kids sometimes encounter. So we'll do it from this side first. I'll have Coach Eli come over here. He's grabbing me around my head and my neck. He's kind of got me here in this headlock position, okay? What I'm going to do is let my left arm go in front of both of his legs, but let my left leg go behind. So I step behind him and across. Now I scoop. I grab behind his knee here, bend my knees, lift, and just throw him back. Just like that, okay? If the opponent holds on to us, they hold on to our neck and don't let go, we can still throw, we just land and fall right on top of them. I'm not going to do that to Coach Eli. Let's pull out a crash pad And if the coaches want you guys to practice in that manner, they'll pull out some crash pads for you to utilize, because it does make the throw significantly harder. It is something we need to think about, because not all people are going to let go and know to slap the mat. It is very common when they start to lift them, if they're not trained, they'll get a little scared, they'll let go to try to catch themselves, which is not going to do a good thing for them at all. It's going to hurt them more. Make sure you don't do that. When your opponent's throwing you in class, we'll let go, tuck our head, and we'll do a nice slap with both of our hands. Don't put your hands down and try and catch yourself, okay? All right, last throwing technique this semester is tomoe nage. This is the circle throw. Lots of different ways to do the circle throw. We're gonna just do one very basic version of it. So, got my standard sleeve and lapel grip here. I'm gonna let my left foot step in close to him. I'm gonna bring my right foot up, and I wanna try to get it on my partner's hip with my toes pointing up and out, all right? And it's okay to kind of bend my knee a little bit to allow myself to get close to him. So as I bring this leg up, I'll kind of use him to help me with my balance. So I've got him here. Notice how my knee is bent, kind of facing out, my toes are facing out. When I'm ready for the throw, I want my left foot to come off the mat and try to get it to shoot between his feet. I want my rear end to land as close as possible. So I'm trying to not fall backwards. I'm not getting position and then falling back like that. Sometimes that will work, most times it won't. Gives them more room, more space, and they can take a recovery step and kind of stop our throw. So I want to try to swing underneath him, use that swinging motion to help propel him over, okay? So sleeve and lapel grip, step in close with the left foot, bring up the right, left foot in, and we throw. So I kind of held on to him here, gave him at least a little something for balance and control, so he didn't feel like he was just flying through the air completely freely. Very important, this leg definitely kicks. It brings him on over. Now I could release, rotate, get on top, try to pin. I could also, as he's going over, maintain that connection, just roll over on top of him. Or once he lands, I could use these grips, tuck my head inside, and then pull myself over and go for a pin and side control. So any of those variations is fine. Just make sure we get a good throw in there, okay? If you are uke, being thrown with this throw, important to relax, breathe out, slap the mat, tuck your head. Don't try to land on your feet in what we call a bridge position. So if I had just been thrown and I was flying through the air, I don't want to try to save myself by landing here on just my feet and my shoulders, or even worse, my feet and my head and neck. That's a little bit dangerous, and if you do that in a judo match, you lose the match. You're disqualified. It's considered to be unsafe, particularly for kids. So when you're being thrown for this throw, you can either do a turnout where you land on the front of your body or your side, but you cannot bridge and try to keep your back from hitting by planting both of your feet. If you do that in a match, you'll lose the match anyway, and you might hurt yourself. So it doesn't make any sense to do it. All right, pinning techniques. First one we have is uki gatami, the floating hold. We also sometimes call this the knee on belly. I want you to be on your back with your head that way. So from this side position, I'm going to have my right knee across my opponent's stomach. I'm going to use my left hand. I'm going to grip underneath their sleeve, clamp their arm, pull it tight, kind of like case of gatami. A little more space, but very similar. With this hand, I can grab the opposite lapel. I can grab behind the collar. I can grab the same side lapel. I can grab behind the collar. I could grab the other sleeve. I could grab the pants. Real low, I could grab the belt. What I typically do is reach down, grab the pants right here, or grab the opposite lapel. One of those two, whatever feels good to me. We are putting downward pressure with this knee into the stomach of our partner. Just remember to take care of your partner. We don't want to execute this one at 100% every single time we do it. We want to do it hard enough that they have to work, but we're not trying to hurt them, okay? So I've got my grip on the pants here and the sleeve here. I have it tucked under my arm, and I'm executing my pin, all right? What he's going to do for his escape this time is he's going to shove my knee off toward me, start to shrimp his body away to make space, and then he's going to recover his guard. So he gets that bottom leg between us, makes as much space as he needs to, rotates, and then pulls me into guard, okay? So he's now no longer being pinned. Our next pin is tate shihogatami, top locking four corner hold. We'll also do that with Coach Eli's head toward the camera. So for this one, I'm fully on top here. I'm gonna have one of my arms behind his head, and it can really be either one. I'm gonna use my right arm here. And I'll show you a different angle in a second, but I'm using my feet to what we call grapevine or control his legs. You will also commonly see this one done where I take his arm, trap it across, and pin it here. This would be the full classical Tate Shiho Gatame. This is not 100% necessary for testing purposes. As long as you're even just right here, or even right here, chest to chest, this would be Tate Shiho Gatame, okay? If we can get control of his head and get control of one of his arms, that's even better. We'll try and do that, okay? So what he's gonna do for his escape, whichever one of my arms is behind his head and neck, he's gonna take his hand on that side of his body, he's gonna trap it there. We think of it as like combing our hair, brushing our hair back. He wants to prevent me from being able to get my arm out to post with it, okay? So if I've got this arm behind his head, he's gonna trap it behind his head, so that way if he tries to bridge me that way, I can't pull it out and get it free, okay? Let's turn just a little bit, and you'll see here how I've got his legs sort of in this grapevine. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna take one leg and kick to the sky and then stomp it straight down, and that frees it, and the one on the side he's bridging to, he pulls up close. So now what he's effectively done is he's trapped my arm, I can't move it out, and he's trapped my leg, I can't move it out. So it's hard for me to stop him when he bridges and pushes that way. Boom, all the way over, just like that. So he wanted to take me that way, he trapped this arm, he trapped this leg. I had nothing that I could use to stop his roll. If he were in that position and he didn't trap my arm, come back down real second, coach. You'll see what happens here if he doesn't trap my arm, for example. He does everything else, he doesn't trap my arm though. When he tries to do it, I can just post out to the side like that. So we want to trap that arm behind the head. Now, let's say he trapped the arm, but he didn't trap my leg. Now he tries to bridge me, and I can just put my leg out to the side. So he's trapping my leg up to his body, trapping my arm to his body, and now he's pushing with his free hand and bridging real strong. Boom, all the way over. All right, very good. Let's talk about these miscellaneous mat work techniques. We have the step back pass. This is a way to do a stand up from our opponent's closed guard and then execute a guard pass. So he's going to be on his back, his head facing away from me. And I'm going to start out in his full guard. Remember, we always talk about 3 basic rules: wide base, good posture, short T-Rex arms. I'm pressing down on his hips to keep him trapped to the mat. My right knee slides over right to the center of his body, right to his tailbone. So I bring this over. My left foot goes back. And I sort of bend my elbows a little bit, kind of like I'm going to do a push-up. And I use my legs, my arms, my whole body to go from here, boom, to here. Notice I've got 1 foot forward and 1 foot way back. Wouldn't want to stand up in his guard with my feet both closed. He can grab them and he can sweep me very easily. So when I pop up for the step back pass, I got 1 forward, 1 back. Now I'll just let my hands slide up, grab inside his pants, twist, push them together. Forward they go. I can step out and then bring my right leg very close to his body. Now I slide his legs out of the way. This is a good transition into our floating hold, Uki Gatame. Let's do it with your head that way, please, sir. So, wide base, good posture, short arms, trap his hips, knee in the center, step up, pop back. Grab, push, get that leg real close here. There's no space for him to recover guard. Not letting go of his pants until I push him out of the way. Bring my knee down. Now I can go into Uki Gatame. If I let go of his legs too soon, he can recover his guard. I'll give him that chance. Last one, the balloon sweep. So just a few minutes ago, we talked about tomonagi, a circle throw. We were both standing. The balloon sweep is basically toinage, but I'm on my back, my opponent is standing up. He's trying to pass my guard. So I'll be here on my back, got Coach Eli standing up. Maybe he's attempting a step back pass like we just showed, Or maybe I never had him here in my full guard. Maybe I fell down, he threw me, and now he's just trying to pass my guard. Super important here. Anytime we end up on our back, we want to be engaging and using everything we have. So I want to be using both of my hands, both of my feet. He's a little bit of a better position than me here. If I allow him to, he'll pass my guard. So what I'm going to do is have my sleeve grip right here, put my foot on his hip. This hand can either grab his opposite sleeve, opposite lapel, or same side lapel. Any of those are fine. Experiment with it, see what works good for you. For this particular technique, if you could get the other sleeve, that's really, really good. It makes it very difficult for him to be able to stop this throw. But it's not an absolute necessity. We could do it with a lapel grip over here, okay? I'm gonna get his sleeve. I've got this foot right here on his hip. I'm gonna let my foot drop down from his hip onto his thigh. And I'm gonna just pull him forward a little bit, and I'm gonna start to push his leg back. He feels like I'm trying to sweep him down, so he doesn't like that. In response to that, he tries to step forward again. When he does, I'm gonna pull him forward, pull his arms up and out. My foot goes back to his hip, and I lift, and I can just dump him right there, okay? Now, this outside leg, see again, it can be also hooking the outside of his leg. So the first way I showed it, I was here and here, kind of both feet on the hips. I could just be hooking and using my foot to control his leg. That's perfectly all right. And like I said before, I could have this on one of his lapels. That works fine as well. I'll push him back, he steps forward, I lift him, and throw him. All right, let's see it, let me see if I can see the feet. So we can have double feet, double sleeves, double feet, sleeve and lapel, opposite lapel. We could hook the outside here, just like that. Double sleeves, double lapel, 2-on-1 opposite lapel, whatever you prefer. When I'm ready for this throw, notice what I'm going to do. This foot comes off his hip, goes right here, pull him forward, push him back. Doesn't like that, tries to recover. Lift him up, boom. And we can throw him any direction we want. That way, by that time, we went to the side. We could go here, here, here. Doesn't matter. We want to lift them up, take them over, guide them onto their back. So that one's a fun technique to play with. A lot of variations you can work on with the grip and with the exact direction that you throw the opponent. All right, that wraps it up for semester 3 in our junior judo curriculum. Thanks very much. See you guys on the mats.